Luke, it's great to have you, man, on the Elevate podcast. Mate, I've heard so many great things about you.
Thank you,
great stories. There's a connection there between us two. I mean, I was just telling you a little bit about my start in the fitness industry.
Yes.
And I think there's parallels there of what we've possibly been through. But the first thing that I wanted to ask you was, like, who is Luke Kennedy? Like, what was your upbringing like? How did you get to... You don't get into this position of being a public speaker and helping young kids by not going through something.
I agree, yeah. So where do you want to go, bro? All the way back? We want to start back?
Well, bro, tell me, yeah. Like, I mean, I grew up in Redfern and East Lakes, but that's a long story.
Well, I grew up in Alexandria, bro, so not too far away, Urco.
Yeah.
So I was born in Livo Hospital, but grew up around Urco, and throughout, sort of how I got to the point of, the heavy life and then turning things around to be the speaker. Throughout that time, my dad and brother were both pro fighters and getting trained at Newtown PCYC. Yeah. It's a Woolies now, I think it is. Anyways, I was getting trained by Johnny Lewis, like, incredible man, Hall of Famer. And when I was there, I'd go watch my dad and brother train, fight, and I would used to see all the great fighters there, like Kostya, international fighters there, and I was this overweight kid that had some pretty, awkward anxieties about him. And I used to watch the way that these fighters were respected. People did things for them. They always had the girls around, sort of thing, and people tapped them on the back, and they were just like these warrior men, And I suppose as this impressionable young kid, I was like, I'd love a bit of that respect. I really would. And later on, I just went about in the streets, and I was, starting high school. I was sort of, like I said, a bit of an awkward, overweight kid. Could still handle myself, but the anxieties were there. A lot of us about my weight. Anyways, I got into a fight with a guy that was in my brother's year in year 10, and I beat him in front of a lot of the older boys, and then I felt for the first time that bit of respect, that bit of acceptance even, and I was like, that's powerful. For the first time in my life, I was like, I was an equal. I was like, I was allowed to hang out with the boys, sort of thing. And I suppose getting that bit of respect, I just ran with it, and then kicked out of school at like 15, met a crew of boys in the city, got into, X, Y, Z, whatever you can imagine. But the main thing for me was fighting, organised street fights.
Yeah.
And then
organised street fights.
Organised street fights, yep. And like I said, growing up around the boxing scene, even though I didn't train much, I could still handle myself. And soon I was 16 years old, fighting grown men. I was nearly 120 kilos at 16, 17, and I could throw my weight around. And I was just this lost little boy thinking he was a man, and hurt people physically, emotionally, mentally, and then got on the drugs, alcohol, just to, I suppose, to suppress those darkness on the inside. Because, it helps for a bit, the drugs, alcohol, it felt good for a bit. It gave me a bit of a reprieve from my mind, from the worries about what other people think, from the anxieties, all that sort of stuff. But, searching for, I suppose, connection and peace in a depressant, which drug and alcohol is, it just turned it on its head eventually, bro, and led me down, some pretty severe mental health issues. And, looking back, the biggest thing that I suppose that just built on me getting further and further down that dark path was my anxieties and concerns about what other people think about me, and trying to live up to the fighter, trying to live up to the big party, trying to just create this false identity that caused so much anxiety that I was trying to live up to. And it doesn't matter what situation I was in, and anything that any decision I'd make, whether it was something I wanted to do or something I didn't want to do, I didn't base it from my value system, from what I felt was right for me and from my morals. And I'd instantly just boom, what do they go? He's there, and I'd base it from everything else, and it happens like that. Even when I was stabbed, I was
twice, right?
Twice,
Vic was turned twice.
Yeah, a couple of different times, and it was my fault. It was my fault both times. The first time, which highlights the point about worrying about what other people think, was in Alexandria, Erskineville. I was going past on a train, and I saw a guy on the station. Back then, the trains didn't stop. The Blue Line trains, Hurstville to the city, didn't stop at Urco. It just flew straight through to Redfern. But I see a guy that I had beef with at the station. I was like, there he is, I'm going to get him. So we get off at Redfern, train to whatever it was, Newtown or whatever, ran down. And as I going up this back lane, I see him, and he's coming with a few of his boys. I'm with one of mine. And as soon as he sees me coming, he pulls out a knife, because he knew that we had dramas, and I had every chance to take off. The guy's standing there with a knife. It's fair call. You can go,
Yeah.
But scanning my surrounding environment like that. Like, what's my boy going to think? Like, if I take off, he's going to think I dogged it.
Yeah.
Their crew's going to think I dogged it as well. I'm this fighter. I can't do that sort of thing. And I just run straight ahead towards this guy, and I'm like standing there about a metre short. I'm going, stab me. I didn't think he had it in him. He stands there and like sort of takes a swipe of the knife, and I suck my stomach. It was like a movie, bro. It just sort of catches my shirt like a Zorro sort of thing, And I jump in and throw a punch, and then we have a bit of a rumble. Then everything sort of just slows down a bit. It was this weird feeling. He was then a bit shocked, a bit frozen. Then I feel like a bit of a warm paint going down my back. I look over and there's blood gushing out of a wound. And I put my hand, I'm like, wow, bro, you're going to get it. Hey, I'll put it over. And he takes off. So do his boys. My mate rushes over, sort of putting pressure on the bleeding. And I'm standing, my legs start caving in a bit. I'm down on the floor. My vision's closing in. And, I can sort of taste blood. And I'm like, fuck, and my breaths were getting shorter. I thought, this is it. Like, this is that moment. Because the stuff that I was getting up to, I thought this moment was going to come, like that. Those final moments. So I was like, how was I going to respond? What was that going to be like?
How old were you then?
18.
18, wow.
Yeah, just a kid, man.
Wow, yeah.
And I'm there, and a guy from the dry cleaners comes out, this guy, and he's like, oh, mate, he's either gotten you in your heart or your lung. And I was like, oh, thanks, bro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was my lung. So it was a punctured lung. And from there, bro, like, people asked me if that was a turning point to turn things around, but it wasn't. It was just another part of like, oh, I survived getting stabbed, oh, there was another part of the ego, another part of the, like, even during it, I wasn't worried about the death. It was like, oh, hopefully I can survive so I can tell the story. Life was just a bunch of stories to try to impress the boys or try to live up to this person. Yeah, and then it just took off from there, bro, and just got worse for the next three or 4 years.
Wow. It's funny because when you're young, you're fearless. It's like, if you didn't get me, you ain't going to get me, right? And you said you ran off for the next 3-4 years. When did the second incident happen?
And when you say fearless, like I was fearless in terms of, trying to, with fights and all that sort of stuff, but I wasn't fearless internally, man. My mind I was just full of worry, It was just heavy. Like, you're right, I'd feign being fearless, but man, there was so much fear within me. Fear of mostly of other people's opinions. Fear of trying to.
It wasn't fear of the fight. It was fear of what people thought about you.
Exactly, that's it.
Like, if you didn't fight, what are they going to think about?
That's it. I know. Yeah. And even before I get to the second one, I think even as adults that stuff can come out. Like, what it does for us adults is, instead of it making us do things, it makes us stop doing things that we want to do.
You retreat.
Yeah,
you start to retreat. Like when you're young, or whether you're in business, doesn't matter what venture you're in, you tend to have more cracks. You have more energy. You push through the failures a lot easier. As you get older, you question yourself, do you have enough time? Are you relevant enough? The different questions start to come into your mind. So I kind of get that as we get older. Like, if we're not constantly developing ourselves, or, if I see you in a year and you're the same person and you're not developing yourself, then you start to question yourself if you're still relevant.
Oh, man.
Right?
Yeah, it's big. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And even I met with a mutual friend of ours, Vic, yesterday from Muscle Republic, and he said, a business will never outgrow their CEO. So the CEO's got to keep growing.
Yes.
Got to keep growing, keep in all areas, spiritually as well, mentally, emotionally, physically, all areas. And that hit me yesterday. But yeah, the second time I was with the boys, drinking, carrying on in Nicolebe, and I got in an argument with one of the boys, and we had a bit of a rumble. And then after, this story varies a bit because I ended up getting blind. I don't really remember much of it, and I've heard different opinions of what happened, sort of thing. And the guy that I had the argument with, probably about an hour later, whatever it is, smashed 2 bottles and was standing and was holding him. And I said, what are you going to do with that, apparently? And I rushed him, and then I had my head down and he just stabbed me in the head, and I had to have staples to hold my head together and the top of my ear reattached. So yeah, that was the second time. And yeah, man, it was that whole time, bro. During that life of just trying to be somebody on the street, it was just full of trauma, bro. Just full of trauma, And it was and I get asked this quite a bit, especially when I'm speaking at schools. If there's anything I'd change from my past, and here on podcasts, people say, I wouldn't change anything because it's made me who I am. Well, I agree to some of that, but I hurt people, man, and I know that some of the people that I hurt, their life's been a bit different as a result. You know, and that's the stuff that gets me.
Yeah.
You know, with shame, guilt. You know, I've done a lot with my faith for forgiveness, but the scars are still there, and so they should be, bro. You know, and so yeah, that's the stuff that, you know, like I said, that all the trauma with stuff that happened to me, I can handle, but the way it impacted other people's lives is the big thing. I think that's the thing that gets us, and that's why I speak to the students about it as well. I'm like, guys, I don't want you to have that regret when you get older, because the biggest one that we have, I feel. You know, for sure, we have those internal things that we wish we should have done and all that sort of stuff, but we can overcome that. But I think the stuff that keeps us up is the way we've hurt other people.
Yeah. One of the questions I always get asked is like, what's your podcast about? You know, it's all about stories and how individuals overcame challenges to get to where they are, and that's why I call it Elevate with Mets.
Nice.
And like, I want to give people, you know, a framework of, you know, Luke, and I'm going to show you a book later because it looks very, very impressive what you've done. I've looked at, you know, a lot of your posts. Speaking of Vic, I got a good sense of who you are, and mate, he talks very, very highly about you. But what I found was, when I was young, I was kind of lucky. I had my mum that would not let me go if I was doing the wrong thing, and she was like a drill sergeant. Like she would give me freedom, but if she thought that I was going down the wrong track, she was like a detective, and she would pretty much, and she doesn't like to admit it because she's a bit older now, but she would say, I'm going to take you out myself. And then I had a brother that I respected a lot. He was, you know, 10 years older than me, and he didn't say much, but his look and his discipline were enough. Was there someone in your family that you go, fuck, these, like, I'm worried about what people think about me, which is what you said. Like, I think about what people think about me, and this is why I act a certain way. But was there someone in your family that you go, I can't let this guy down anymore?
Yeah, my dad. You know, obviously my parents. My mum's an incredible woman. Love her.
Yeah.
Love my parents. But my dad, he won't mind me saying this, but growing up, my dad was an alcoholic. He'd carry on. You know, he'd still, you know, he was trained and box, but he'd go binge drinking and carry on quite a bit. And you know, during my heavy times of violence and all that sort of stuff, it was around the alcohol. You know, and he used to say to me, look, you got to give up the grog, it's going to kill you, you're getting up in debt. I was like, what are you talking about? You're getting blind all the time, sort of thing, you know? It wasn't until I was about 22 he found Christ and gave up the alcohol, and that's what sort of planted the seed. So even though my dad was, yes, going through those you know, his own battles, breaking patterns from his past, from his childhood, which he did, he was breaking patterns. But yeah, there was still a lot of stuff there, but he was still a great mentor of mine growing up, somebody I didn't want to let down, somebody that would always sort of pull me back, because my nickname back then was Punchy. Everyone knew me as Punchy, you know? And everyone called me that, except, you know, my dad. He'd always Luke, and bring me back, remind me about my grandma, who I was very close with, who passed on, reminding me about family, reminding me about and we'll talk about my upbringing, just trying to pull me back to me, you know? So he was a big one for me.
I love that,
and
man.
he still is now.
Yeah, wow.
But
we
that
need
being
that.
said, their love and support didn't stop me from getting into that world, but it's the thing that helped me get out of it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You're stuck in this paradigm, like, and you're trying to shift to get out of it, and you're just, it's like a vortex. You try and get out, it pulls you back in.
Yes.
But then on the back of your mind, and we probably don't realize it subconsciously, we're doing this thing and we're letting this person down.
Yes.
And it's hard. Like, some people don't have the awareness to figure that out.
Well said.
A lot of people don't, and some people have that awareness. I knew that, like, some of the things, you know, when I was young weren't the best. I knew it, and I go, fuck. I just feel it's almost like you feel dirty.
Yeah.
You feel dirty. You go, how can I face this person and be honest with them?
Yeah. Every time I got arrested, my mind just went straight to him.
Yeah.
Straight to him.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna let him down.
Yeah.
What am I doing? You know.
Yeah, I didn't get arrested, but maybe I should have.
How was your relationship with your dad, if you don't mind me asking, my friend?
Man, it was funny. Like, I'll give you a story, like, of a timeline, and this story. Well, I don't want to cry on this, but this story here, when my dad was dying, because we you know, they said, you know, he's got 6 weeks to live, and I don't want to get into this, but I'll just go into it a little bit. I found that really hard, so I had to disappear. So I didn't come to the gym. I did, and my fuse, you know, your fuse doesn't ever go away. So if someone irritates you, you could blow up. And I was warned about it, but I didn't take action on it. And I remember that I was in the hospital once with him, and he had 3 weeks to live at that time. But
How
we
old were
didn't
you,
know.
sorry, man? How old were you?
I
during
was,
this
it would have been like 41, 42.
time? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and but I've had no one close to me die. My grandparents, I never knew any of them because they passed away. They were living in Turkey. But I remember I was sitting there, and funny enough, you said your dad was a big drinker. So was my dad, right? But in his like sort of like last 17 years, he didn't touch anything. And I'm sitting there and we're watching this TV, and he goes, "There's 3 weeks to live," and he goes, you know, it was never, nothing was worth it. I go, "What are you talking about? Nothing was worth it." He goes, "Drinking alcohol wasn't worth it." You know what I mean? He goes, "I'm telling you now, like it doesn't help anything."
Yeah.
And then he turns around and he goes, "Your car's gonna get a ticket. You better go." So there was, you know, there's always like great pivotal moments. That's why, like, I never give up and work hard. You know what I mean? Because of him and who he was. And he was good because he goes, "Look, your mum's going to come after you. I'm just giving you a warning." And he goes, "I don't like driving her around, seeing if you're doing all the right things all the time.
Yeah, I get you, yeah.
Because I'm just warning you." And he goes, like, "Pull your head in because I'm not fucking driving around." But
How long did you have with your dad? Like, you knew it was, if you don't want to get into this, but
No,
how was the time
mate,
during
I'll
that
never
time?
forget.
Did you get to
Never
connect
forget.
with him on a different level during that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
man.
because
What an opportunity, huh? Some people don't get that chance.
No, they don't. And we've done everything to keep him alive. And you know, but you know, you what you got to do is you got to take from what you learn there. Not every kid takes that. And the hardest thing is we have a responsibility to be open and transparent to individuals. Because I find sometimes, even me in business or I'm helping someone, you've almost got to give them the metrics of what it takes to get to where they want to get to. Because, you know, a lot of people, I think, have a clouded judgment of what it actually takes.
Success, you mean? In all
It doesn't matter what it is.
different-
It doesn't
yeah.
matter what it is.
You're
It's
right, yeah.
okay, if I'm doing this job, how can I do it well? Because it's going to help this line of people. I don't have to be the best at anything, but I could be the best at it. My dad was a cleaner, man.
Mine too.
But he was
Mine too,
mate, he
brother.
was a freak of a cleaner. Like when I used to clean the gym, when we got cleaners, we cleaned our gym for 14 years. When we got cleaners, my dad wanted to really get it on,
Yeah,
mate.
look
He
after
wanted
his
to
boy
kill
too,
him.
eh?
No, he goes, "Mate, why are you hiring these guys for?" So, you know, but the fundamentals of how he done that and worked, you know, I'll never forget. I'll never forget.
Thanks for sharing, brother. Thank
No,
you.
no,
it's obviously a tough one to get through, but thank you for sharing, man.
You kind of have to delve into those moments when you're trying to create something better. And then, you know, when you're sitting, for me, Luke, when I'm sitting down with you, I get inspired. Like every time I sit down with someone and they're talking about their stories, like I get inspired. But one of the things I want to talk about, and I love this one, you talk about rewriting your story. What does that actually mean in practice? Like, what does rewriting your story mean?
Yeah, good question. It's different from everybody because we've all got different stories. We've all got different rewrites as well. I suppose it's understanding what our current belief systems are compared to our story. Like if something's happened in your past, I just spoke to the students then about this. If something's happened in your past, how are you framing that? Are you framing it as poor me? As you're framing it as now I can't do something because of this, or can you frame it as an opportunity to connect with others? Can you use your past as an opportunity to build your character and your resilience to push forward? So what story are you currently holding on to, and what perspectives do you have, and how is that holding you back, and how can you rewrite that as an advantage? And so for myself, my past, yes, heavy stuff happened. Yes, mental health issues. Yes, crime, violence, addiction, all that sort of stuff. And yes, I held on to victim for many years, you know, and for a long time. But now seeing it as an opportunity to be able to connect with our youth, connect with people, and you know, it's not. I suppose it's not just though a bad guy gone good story, you know, because there's plenty of those, and they get pretty repetitive after a while. It's a lot deeper than that. And we talk about the story, but that's to get the connection. Because if I'm just up there telling them, you know,
Do this.
I'm just another stooge trying to tell them what to do. So I connect with my story, and I call it like a bit of a story content sandwich. So I start with story, then I drop the message and what it means for them, then back to the story, and then like boom. Because if it's all story, all it is emotion, there's no message. If it's all message, it's not. So it's bringing them up emotionally, opening them up with a visceral experience where they can actually picture maybe themselves in that seat, and then planting the seeds of what that actually means. So yeah, that's the sort of process we go on, and so writing the stories. Yes, how can I rewrite my story to now benefit others?
And you seem huge on self-development. You've written your own book. I always look at myself like sometimes in quarters, sometimes in 6-month blocks. I go, how can I become the new Mets? What do I have to do to get to this level to create what I need to create to help more people? My whole philosophy is like, how can we create the right programs here to connect with more people and help more people? And
I could feel that that's genuine even before this podcast when we're having a chat. Like you could see how passionate you are about that, and that's a genuine space. You know.
Yeah, because as much as the work I do, Luke, it's not about me. The work's not about me. It's about like how can we make people feel like I've got to create a feeling. Like I train a couple of my mates. Then they're pretty big in the business world. Then we were training on the weekend, and I said, boys, I don't want you to worry about the weight. I want you to worry about how it feels. I go, if we can create a feeling that creates a result, I go, you're going to be injury-free, you're going to feel better, you're going to feel stronger. So I always go like, what feeling can we create? So if I'm talking to someone, what's that feeling that resonates with them that creates an action, right?
Nice.
And it's not always like cookie cutter for every single person, because you've got to find a way in.
Yeah.
You've got to find a way in. So for me, like rewriting is always about like, who does Mets have to become in these 6-month blocks?
Yeah, like a next chapter kind of thing.
100%.
Yeah,
because like, say you see me in 2 years, you might go, mate, you're not the same guy. And that's who I want to be. I don't want to be the same person, right? But like if you're from the hood or you're my mates and we're mucking around on different WhatsApp messages, we're joking around because we need that outlet. We need that outlet.
Got to rip into each other.
If I'm seeing Vic, I'm ripping into Vic, you know what I mean? Because we need that side, but we need this side as well because we need the purpose.
Oh, for sure. And something on the similar thread there, which highlights that point. You know, I had my first baby my wife had her first baby 4 months ago.
Wow.
And what a blessing, mate. What a blessing. And yeah, seeing my wife give birth at home after 24 hours, no meds, I was just like, bro, like I speak about resilience at schools, you know, but after witnessing that, I feel like a fraud. Like what I watched this woman and the other midwife, like the midwife that was there go through, I was like, there was some complications, but seeing them overcome that, man, ridiculous what women go. I couldn't believe it. Like I was this ignorant man that had no idea about the birth or pregnancy process, but witnessing that, I'm like, unbelievable, mind blown. So moving on from that, my daughter, the new stage of a newborn, and I'm nearly 40. I'm 40 next month, and experiencing this for the first time. You know, I've waited 40 years to meet my daughter, and worth the wait for sure. But so my wife tells people, Luke's the best dad. He's rah rah rah, you know, but like owning that. But then if you, because I've been saying to the boys, what I'm getting at here is, you know, you're only as good as your last nappy change, right? So if I dog it on or whatever it is, and so you quickly back to piece of shit deadbeat. You know what I mean? You know,
from was your last bat.
Yeah. You know, like so that being said, you're only as good as your last nappy change. Like I'm like, okay, what's that mean in life too? I'm like, you know, I hold my story. I've got my book, but this stuff happened 20 years ago. I'm like, okay, what have you done now?
Yeah.
Oh, like, what have you done now, bro? I'm like, okay, yeah, you're mentoring youth, but what have you overcome recently? What's been your latest nappy change? Like, you're speaking about your past. What about now? So that was a big thread that I've been going on over these past few months, man, and so many things have popped. Like you talk about the next chapter or the next thing, and I'm like, what is my next phase? And yes, fatherhood is the biggest purpose you can ever have. But again, what have I overcome for myself? So I was like, things were popping, you know, when you feel like something's going to come. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I need to get off Insta so I deactivated Insta, like you wouldn't be able to find me for months. Got rid of my YouTube, even the subscription, because even that, bro, is the short form content. Even you find a video and it doesn't serve you, get the next one. You know, it was just,
that's right.
It was just teaching my mind just to go on short threads, and I didn't want that anymore. I've got my daughter there. I want to be an example for her as well. So I got rid of all that, and then I started listening to like audiobooks again, long form content. So I go on long drives when I'm speaking for gigs, sometimes 9 hours. So I'm listening to the same thread for 9 hours, reprogramming my mind to go on the same thread. And what happens then when you're going on the same thread, other things jump on top to build on that same thread. Other ideas, other people, other opportunities. So I'm going on this thread. So I started listening to Goggins, right, David Goggins. And I never, you know, a mate of mine recommended him, I go, oh man, I'm not over that, just that, sort of stuff. But I was listening to him and he was talking about, you know, the inner bitch, the stuff that we lean on. And I had a hip replacement 6 years ago. So I've been leaning on that to not be training as hard, to not even run. And I used to fight when I was boxing. I was loving my runs. But I've been leaning on that, like, can't do that. But it was just, I knew it was me kidding myself. So then chuck that thread on about me kidding myself with my hip, chuck it, Goggins on there. And I went for a training session when I was in Dubbo and just went for a park session. And I read something about just warming up with 100 air squats, right? And I was like, 100 air, just straight air squats. And I did those and I was spent. I was like, I've gotten soft, you know, like, what have you been doing? Like, you know, I've got a home gym because I live in the country, but I'm out there for half an hour, 40 max, and just bludgeon, and then back inside. My mind's, you got to get back inside to the family. But Goggins talks about that as well. Our mind knows our greatest weaknesses. It's like, you got to, what are you doing this for? You got to be this, but it's dogging it. It's me not wanting to push through into suffering. So chuck that on there as well. And then when I moved to this village in country New South Wales, there was a church up there for sale last year. And I'm big in the faith. I'm a Christian man. And it was getting sold for development. Right. And I'm like, if that's there in 12 months' time, I'm going to find a way to get it. Because I just moved there, got married, bank wasn't flying around too much. So this year later, around the same time, it's still there. So listen to Goggins, listen to that, and all these different threads coming. So I started jogging a little bit and read that dude Ned Brockman. His book was on. So when you read one book, you know the algorithm stuff. So I'm just jumping all these things, right? All these people doing ultra marathons, and I haven't run a K since the hip replacement. So okay, this is it. And going on the one thread. So I'm to get to raise the funds for the church. I'm running from Coolangatta to Cronulla.
Wow.
890 Ks. It's a marathon a day for 21 days. Wow. So it's called Running for Eternity. But the reason why I'm doing that is for a greater purpose, for the community, and for me to what's my next chapter, to be an example for my daughter. And like I said, when you go on a long form thread for a greater purpose other than yourself, people and ideas come on board. Like our friend Vic. I contacted Vic about this, right? From Muscle Republic. And
one of the best apparel brands. Well, the best
for sure, bro.
I sleep in it. I train in it. I ring Vic. I go, I'm about to go to sleep in your clothes.
I'm thinking of you, bro. I'm in bed. I'm thinking of you.
I'm wearing his top now. I was wearing his puffer jacket before. We're going to take photos after. The best apparel brand in the world, Muscle Republic.
So I met 100%, and I met him like in 2016, I think it was. I owned a gym, nothing like this place here, but I owned a gym, and there were some homeless kids training at our gym that then their clothes were thrashed, right, and smelt. Anyways, I put a call out for some activewear. Vic gets in contact, never heard of him, and he just started out in Muscle Republic. Start out in business, you're doing it tough, you're doing your best, But he reaches out, bro, what can I do? I want to help out. So he sends boxes of this gear to these kids for to deck them out. So from then we became bros, and we just kept in touch. And throughout this time, bro, just seeing, struggling in terms of getting on top of things with business and reinvesting in himself and his business, but always leading with heart. Always leading with wanting to give, always leading for a greater purpose, always leading for community, even if it meant X, Y, Z for his business, whatever. It was always, and there was no agenda behind it. What was in it for him? Ever.
There isn't.
So he been kept in touch, and I reached out to him for this campaign as well, the Running for Eternity. He goes, bro, what do you need? Let's do it, 100%. So cash, he got custom gear made, throwing all these resources in it. And we spoke before, when you're meeting in business, like you can often feel that there's an agenda behind it from their side of things, something what they get. But with him, bro, it's not there. With Vic, it's just.
And you know what, Luke, I'm going to be honest with you. He's never referred anyone to me to come on the podcast because for him to do that, it shows you the level of respect he's got for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm being honest. He goes, Mets, you got to interview this guy, Luke. I didn't know you at the time. But then, like, I go, fucking Vic never says, like, Vic doesn't do this. So for him, and then speaking to him yesterday, you could see the feel and the passion he has for you.
Oh,
Like, you could see it,
mutual,
bro.
brother.
Like, I'm being
Mutual.
honest with you.
Thank you.
But how does a church come up for sale, man? Like, how does that happen?
Man, just a sign of the times, bro. Just getting rid of land to develop on. Really.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's the only church left in our little village, and yeah, like I said, it's a sign of the times.
Because I've never heard it. Like, this is sort of like a calling towards what you're going towards.
Exactly, my friend.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Just like it's a small town. There's only 300 odd people in our village, but there's more families moving into the place.
Yeah.
And there's family, and I want a place for worship,
Yeah.
place for Bible study,
Yeah.
place for and to raise my daughter up and more kids as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it. That's what the campaign's about, man.
Yeah.
To get that going.
So it's almost like a foundation and a cornerstone of like how you want to sort of kind of build this next phase as well.
Yes,
Right?
well said. Yeah, next chapter.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I like that.
Yeah,
that's
no,
right.
because it's almost like you were drawn into that. You know, you said you stepped into your faith here, like, and I don't hear churches for sale. And then how does, like, you know, where the mind, like, it visualizes where it's going to go, but it's almost dormant at some point, and then somehow it gets there. You know, it's happened to me too many times. But what I want to, mate, I love your story. And before you said, I talk about my story, then I talk about, hey, these are the process for the kids. Take me through, like, you know, you got these young kids, that you're speaking at these schools. What have you seen? And is there stories of where, Mets, this kid was like this and he went to this level?
Yeah, plenty, brother.
Yeah,
every day.
Share it, bro, because I love those stories.
Kids overcoming addiction. Like there's some hidden addiction out there with a lot of our youth. Mental health issues. Yeah. Kids coming to talking about God, asking about God and the faith as well. Even yesterday, I was at Davidson High School in Northern Beaches, and then I was speaking to the teacher. One of the young girls comes up and goes, "Sir, can I speak to him? I'm Luke. Don't worry about sir." You know, and we're having a chat. She goes, "You know, thank you." She goes, "It's the first time we could actually relate to somebody." She goes, other companies come here, but it's just like a business that tells us about mental health. To actually hear from somebody that's experienced it's really, and I was like, thank you for that. And even what I've got, even from today, bro, we'll just give it a quick look, bro.
Yeah. It's fantastic, like when the kids can connect, right?
Look, I just spoke at, see me out here. We really enjoyed it. My friends agreed with me that it was one of the most impactful talks they've listened to. One of them said you should go on TED Talk. Thank you so much again. And another one saying that they're going to get rid of some certain friends that aren't serving them and asking for advice. It's the best, bro.
How important is that? Like getting rid of certain friends that don't serve them. Like, sometimes we can become a victim of our environment. And then our environment is usually individuals.
Yeah.
How important is that? Like, I got to get rid of some people.
Yeah, we can either become a victim or a beneficiary of our environment because it can raise us up as well.
Right.
When I'm speaking to the students as well, I speak about that internal moral compass, that internal, that because we know what's up. We know, and listening to it because we can hang out with certain people, but know these people aren't my people. They make us step out of our integrity. It's obviously us doing it. Like it's not their fault. It's us going along with it.
We're looking to fit in. Like we don't know where we fit.
Yeah, that's right. We're not confident in ourselves.
We're not confident, so we don't know the type of character. We don't even know who we are, and we're now connecting with people, and we don't understand where they're taking us.
People, and they don't know where they're going either.
Yeah, they don't know. It's like one lost world. Yeah.
Yeah. So and we've got that. That people might make us, I suppose, we act differently around them. We even speak differently. Yeah. We use words we normally wouldn't use. Yeah. We treat people differently. We might have a few too many of these ones or those ones in the past when we're with them. But it's the understanding that and the awareness is the first step for sure. But then, okay, what are you going to do about it? And the kids ask me, how do I get free of my old environment? And some of these guys are great men, doing great things, turning into great dads and all this and stuff. But it was like, I just know that for each other, we weren't the best for each other. Even it was me too. I was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And when the students ask me, how do you break free from certain friendships or relationships? you know, I tell them, you know, in the past I wasn't big on, you know, I wasn't confident enough to say, boom, no, like what was right and what was wrong. You know, now I'm big on I'm confident enough to stand and strong, and when I see something not right, nah, you're brush sort of thing.
Yeah.
But back then I was, you know, a bit of a people pleaser. Even still now a bit, you know, it comes out a bit, but people pleaser. So I didn't want to rock the boat, and you know, I'd stop hanging out for a bit, but then I'd fall back in. I'd get off the drugs, wouldn't carry on, but then they'd be like, oh, you know, whatever. So then I'd fall back in. It wasn't until, you know, I stopped really focusing on trying to stay away, but actually turning and focusing on what I wanted to create, you know, I started boxing, started looking after myself there, and then eventually the business and the personal development and building myself up and concentrating on that. Yeah, there was friction. And whenever you're doing great things in life, there's going to be hate, usually from those people closest to us, because, you know, touching on their insecurities because they're not having a crack.
Yeah.
But if you can just push through that and really push through, stay strong, eventually you'll pop out. And those people, more times than not, will eventually see you as the inspiration and hit you up for some feedback.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? So it's definitely some friction there whenever you're making changes, but it's worth it.
Yeah. At what point did you want to become like a public speaker or a leader? Like it's not easy.
Oh.
Like what you're doing, writing a book and getting in front of an audience, like it's everyone's, like a lot of people dream it, a lot of people would have anxiety over it, a lot of people would have a lot of fear to do that. It's not simple. At what point did you decide, hey, I'm going here?
Yeah. And it has taken a long process, and the anxieties, and it still comes up, don't get me wrong, like the expectation, the you know, the projecting ahead, what could go, it still comes up. And I think initially the toughest part of it was the feeling like a fraud, you know, like who are you to stand up there and speak to people after what you've done?
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
And even now, bro, like even you talk about before how Vic recommended to come on this podcast, you know.
Mate, he does, but I'm being honest, he's never said, he goes, bro, you got to get this guy.
Champion. But even that, bro, that what comes up around that is like, oh, I don't want to, it's like a responsibility then, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, people are backing you. It's like, oh, far out. It's like that inner person from the past like comes in and it's like, bro, that's a responsibility, you know. Like, it's
like there's this huge weight on your shoulders.
Sort of, yeah. Of
expectation.
And not wanting to let somebody down, you know. But because in the past, all I did was let people down.
Yeah.
All I did was, you know, broken free. I've done a lot of work over the years, and I'm thankful for that. But yeah, getting to the speaker, my first book came out in 2014. It's Stabbed Ego. Yeah. It's been rebranded and updated. Cause
let me bring this book up because people have to see. We've got to put it up here.
Give it a plug, bro. Come on.
It needs a plug. Because I looked at it, I go, that's a thick book, and I'm going to get Kenny to read it to me. No, mate.
no pictures in it for you, bro.
No. Redemption.
Redemption Road, my friend.
Redemption Road, mate. A thug's journey towards enlightenment. I like it.
So, yeah.
Just make sure, Kenny, you get that. I'm going to put that right there. That's where it should have been. During the podcast, I got to bring it out, so I'm going to bring it out.
Oh, man.
It needs airtime.
So, thank you. So it was first published in 2014 as Stabbed Ego.
Yeah.
I signed a 2-book deal with a new publishing company last year after 10 years, and they rebranded, updated it to sort of pump it to the UK as Redemption Road. They thought having stabbed on the cover for the UK, there's been a few issues there, you know. So
there's a lot of issues there.
So that was it. So my book came out in 2014. And the publisher back then, and you know the PR people that were working with us, were like, we'd love to get you on the speaking circuit. You know, speaking at libraries and schools for the bit of a book launch. I'm like, yeah, I'd love to, but man, the thought of doing that terrified me, bro. Nah, not happening. So I was dodging it. Dodging it. Yeah. And although I owned the gym back then, I could do group classes and all this sort of jazz. But standing there and telling your story and having all these people just eyeballing you, like, you know, all the stuff comes in your head, like what are the kids are going to think, that, you know. But a school teacher from Hurstville Boys, she emails me and she's like, look, I just read your book, I'd love you to come speak to the students. I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. You know, don't saying I can't do something. And so she gave me a couple of months to prepare. But for me, it was a couple of months to cancel.
Wow.
I even had the email drafted to pull out. I was going to, you know. But just, I suppose, knowing what's happened, you know, over the years. This was back in 2014.
Yeah.
And turning my life around since 2010. During that 4 years, I'd, you know, overcome a lot, started business, and so I was pushing past those anxieties and those insecurities. You know, I had some massive socially awkward, bro. Like I'd forced my way out of it, but internally I was just in my head.
Do you still get bit of that?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, still rock and rolls for sure. And yeah, there's still elements of it.
Yeah.
Even when I'm rocking up to a school, like I've got to speak to maybe the principal or the organizer,
Yeah.
and it's like, where? Sometimes I go in the toilet and I'm like, bro, what are you doing here? Like, it's incredible. I speak at big corporate events as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, it's a trip, but I laugh at it now. You know? I laugh at it, bro, who knows? Let's just go, you know?
Let's just go, yeah. So you've sort of reframed the way you go into it.
That's
now.
right. Yeah, that's right. So so she asked me to come speak to the students, and then so during that 2 months, just knowing what's happened in my life since turning things around, I just had to push past those doubts again, you know. Whereas in the past, the insecurity stopped me from doing things. Now it's something to overcome. Yeah. And I just knew I had to do the same again. So I rehearsed word for. I was like getting my presentation down pat. I'm like, and I researched on Google, how do you become a speaker? You know, and people on Google saying, oh, just speak from the heart. I'm like, how to speak from the heart? I'm shooting myself. How am I going to speak from the heart? You know? So for me, I rehearsed word for word, but again, I just didn't want it a bad guy going good sort of story, because again, there's thousands of them, bro. You know, it's just another one. Okay, you've done whatever. I want to go deeper, and deeper meaning, how did I overcome mine? It was first understanding, you know, I suppose coming into the world, you know, as who we are. Yeah. You know, the potential, the opportunities, the creativity, the joy, the real connection with others. You know, we can meet somebody at a playground and be friends forever. You know? Yeah. Mistakes, that's the only way we learn. Resilience isn't even a word. We just keep getting back up. Yeah. Anyway, so that was, so the feel for the story is showing, coming in with our potential, our path, our God-given purpose, knowing what we want, but then the label, like a label would come up. Like for me, the fighter, then dumb, then fat, then
what are you doing it?
Yeah. So I'm on my slides. I'll talk about this is what I'm doing. I'll take them through the journey of their true path, and then to my true path, but then show them how I got into a fight. Then I created a story about who I thought I had to be was the fighter. Then it created the dumb. Then it dropped my confidence, and I was kicked out of school. That created more of the dumb. Yeah. Then it just creates the ego, the false image, the false, but then I relate it back to some of their labels or doubts. And so ask them, even with the dumb one, I'm like, is that one of yours? Like, you've made a mistake, now you convince yourself that you can't do something. Yeah. And I speak to them, I say, you know, if you haven't made a mistake, embarrassed yourself, or felt awkward recently, you're playing things too safe. Yeah. You know, those three things are where life's greatest gifts come from. Just know if you're doing those three things, you're having a crack. Yeah. The only people that are going to hate on you for doing those three things are the people that are too scared of them. Yeah. But moving 100%. on from that though, even the positive labels, right? This is a bit of a trip. So I speak to them. I say, mine of you might get maybe the smartest, right? Maybe the best at a subject, the top performer at a sport, even, right? Yeah. And I say, we'll use maths as an example because that's what we use for the dumb one. I said, maybe someone might get labelled the best at maths, right? Or it can be any subject or a sport. But okay, now I'm the best at maths. Sort of heard parents, carers say, the rellos, friends have said it, teachers have implied it. Then all of a sudden, all I'm known for, all my mask is, all my identity is around my grades and how smart I am, right? And that's all I'm known for, okay? But then up comes a math test, and there's pressure comes. Pressure's good, we can work with that. But behind the pressure is a bit of fear, stress, worry, anxiety, expectation. Where's that come from? Because if they pitch ahead and they don't get 100% or close to, or if they don't beat everybody else in class, then it feels like they've let everybody down, and their whole identity of who they are is a failure. Like, that's not who you are either. Like, your grades on a paper do not define you. Your grades on a paper do not make you good people, bad people, far from it. Yeah. You know, don't get me wrong, study hard, accomplish great things, work your butts off. But if it's impacting your mental health and your passion and your purpose, what's the point of it all? Yeah. So study hard, like I said, but study you more. You know, what are you passionate about? What gets you out of bed early? What sparks your creativity? Do you need help, like we all do? Yeah. You know, because when you study you in the best version of that, your mind's clearer, you're more vibrant, and you start heading towards goals and what you want to do. So yes, 100% study hard, but study yourself more. Yeah. So you've almost got to look and look at your ego, look at your reactions if you're winning, just to make sure that you're not labeling yourself as certain individual. It's a trip, man. It is, because, you know, obviously we want to because we all get labeled. Like, say if you're doing well all the time, that's an expectation. Now you get labeled for that, right? And then you've got to live up to that expectation. Like, I think this victim mentality, you know, I used to have it. Like, I go like, fuck, why do I have to do all this? Why do I have to be this person? Why can't I be someone else? And, you know, I kind of learned this from my mum, because I go, fuck, my mum had 3 boys and a husband, and she goes, I was the only one that could do it. Like, I'm the only one that could do this. Not why me,
it's because of me that I was able to help the family. So you've
All
almost
Turkish boys too, eh?
yeah,
Big passion there, bro.
What a mess, mate. If I sat down with her and tried to bring it all up, there could be too many
Unravel
stories.
some things. Eh?
It can unravel too much, and then I'm very good at like taking things from my family. Like, you know, my brother's very sort of stoic, and you know, you won't get many words out of him, and you know, we'll be sitting here, and once you crack him, he'll start talking. You know. So I get that side. My dad's just like the worker, just constantly going, come on, let's go. And then my mum was like, you know, I'm going to hold you all together, right? So when you start to, like, there's always people around you that are great. And I always say to people, like, what's the one thing that you can get from that person, you know, if you want to feel better? So, you know, we go down this sort of this mental route, right? And I hear about it a lot, and you're the guy that helps a lot of people with that. Like I'm going through anxiety, I'm going through depression, I'm going through all of these things, and it's more prevalent than ever.
Yeah,
it's more prevalent than ever, and you know what I take my hat off to you is you go into the fire of these people that need you, and there's a lot of pressure that comes with that because I can only help so many people. Like I'm only in contact with like a handful when I see them. And I go to myself, how can I build a program that can plug in all these areas that I know people have problems with? I created a gym only on problems, right? So everything that we create is about how can we help someone. And environment plays a huge role. But, you know, you've written 2 books, 2014, and you're having this great run, speaking on stages, and getting to so many people, doing a fantastic job of that.
Thank you, mate.
But what's what's this end goal? Like, if you're looking at public speakers and you're going, fuck, that's the guy I want to not emulate, but like I look at speakers, I'm doing a podcast, and I'm looking at these podcasts, I'm going, how the fuck am I going to even level up or be at their standard?
Yeah.
And then I just go, I'm just going to talk. I just want to know about Luke, man. If I can find out about Luke and I can bring Luke's story out on how he does this, and people can get something out of it, I go, I'm just interested in Luke.
Yeah,
and
well
if I'm
said,
interested
man.
in Luke, it's going to be a pretty good podcast. And if you don't like it, I've done the best I could right now.
Well said, bro. Yeah, making it beyond you, and then
100%, man, 100%. So, you know, what does that look like? Because you see, you know, you said you were going for a run, you're hearing David Goggins, he's spoken on stage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great speakers out there. Like, I kind of look at great podcasters and I go, fuck, I love the way he asked that question. Man.
Yeah, some of their minds incredible with the podcast.
Well, I was
honestly.
watching
You just
Steve
go,
Bartlett
bro.
with Ronda Rousey, and man, you got to see that one.
Okay.
What Ronda Rousey is now. You know, when you talk about who you are to who you are now, like it's like the identity shift from this person down now to here. It's like, you know, you were here and you've gone here. Hers in the reverse.
Really? Okay. Wow.
It's not in the It was a great podcast, but when you listen to the story, you'll go, fuck, you won't recognise her.
Yeah, get you.
You won't
Because who
recognise
are
it.
you beyond the fighter? Who are you beyond the UFC?
That's what I'm saying. If you're here at 20, we've got a problem.
Ooh. Oof.
You know what I mean? Because now they're going down this way.
Yeah.
But I'm listening to Steve Bartlett and I'm watching him. And I never forget I was coming back from overseas, and I watched the interview that he had with Rio Ferdinand and not Alex Ferguson. There was another player that played for Manchester United, and then there was Lampard. Great interviews, and he's getting unbelievable guests. And I look at his like where he's gotten to through doing his podcast, and I go, wow, man, you know, 11 million subscribers, but he just sounds authentic. He just sounds real,
Yeah,
right?
He cares.
He just cares,
Yeah.
and you know, you'll read the comments and you go, what's this guy even talking about, right? You know, like in the comments.
Again, bro, there's always going to be people ripping in.
You know, and he's younger than me, and he's come out, and I respect him a lot. But like, who do you kind of look up to in public speaking and mentoring? You're a huge mentor now, really, to the kids.
Thank you. Man, in terms of speaking, brother, I'm comfortable in my space. I'm
Yeah.
loving what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like if this is this is me.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no, you know, I'm speaking at corporate stuff now, which is
Yeah.
great. Like big.
So tell me with the corporates, what's happening there? Because like these guys are obviously like CEOs, corporates,
Yep.
because it's going to be different to kids, right? Or is it the framework the same?
A little bit,
Yeah.
but depending on who the company is, who the business is, I go on different threads. So it could be leadership, there could be having internal culture shifts. There could be mental health as well, staff burnout, or even just a day to be motivated and inspired.
Yeah.
So depending on who they are, you know, I get a brief from organizer, have a chat to those guys beforehand. But yeah, the same underlying stories there, but just the different messaging goes off.
Yeah.
Whether it's whatever. Leadership's a big one, and just going off on different threads, but then bringing it back to story, making it back to them, relating it back to them. So it just depends on who it is.
So mental health and burnout, how big is that in the work life?
Man, it's you know yourself, brother. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
I think the mental health and staff burnout, all of it is, I think, just a result of the overactive mind of people just not getting a break. People, the expectations, especially school. I do a lot of school teacher stuff, like workshops for school teachers, and man, they're all day. They're amongst it with the kids, you know, all day, just amongst it. But then after hours, they're going home marking papers. They're checking emails. They're getting it from teachers, parents. They're copying it, you know, and then what happens is then on the weekends, it's a lot of energy output, you know. And then on the weekends, I speak to them about this as well. I've been getting comfortable in saying no. Yeah. You know, because and not having to chuck an excuse on the back end of it. Because you know how many times, oh no, I've got, and just something else on, but just no, I'm, you know, just and standing strong in that. Because if they're spending the week just output, then on the weekends, if they get guilted into going the catch ups, they don't want to go up. It's more energy output. And then come Monday, it's a perpetual cycle. You know, you've got to start bringing some stuff back in, start getting some space. Just start saying no to take care of yourself. Go to the gym. You know, just
put your health first.
Put your health first. All that, you know, and the idea of, you know, oh, you got to fill your own cup first, but it's true. You know, you got to. How can you connect with it? Because the big one's the connection.
I put this on my phone, and my mates started teasing me.
The boys ripping in again, eh?
Yeah, but
what do you got? Look after yourself.
Can you have a look at that? They really gave it to me, the boys. Stand up. Fucking hell, mate. I'm doing this for me.
And
just say that.
It's a big one, you know, because...
Don't say the word, bro. Don't say the word.
What was he going to say?
It starts with a G, probably. My niece gave it to me. I seen that on her phone. I go, I want that.
Yeah. And it's true, you know, but, you know, it's a bit of a dance, because for myself, in my faith demands me to be selfless. But for me to be selfless, I need to look after myself too. Yeah. And I think that word selfish is a big big contributor. Right? Yeah, because, you know, growing up, don't be selfish, and we've associated selfish with negative, which is it, like certain aspects of it. But as we've grown up, we've gone too far with it, and we think we're saying no to somebody because we want to do something for ourselves. We're being selfish, so we're not taking care of ourselves. And these especially for teachers, like I said, but anyone really, it's just filling our schedules with like if we've got a gap in our schedule, we fill it rather than keep it for a time to be bored. When was the last time you were bored? You know. When was the last time
especially the way we're, you know, with technology these days, we're overstimulated constantly. And, you know, you go back, you know, you're 40 this year. If you go back to when there was no mobile phones and you're running around Glebe and it's like no one knows where the hell I'm. They can't even get in contact with me.
No phones, And I saw a reel on the other day. It's like kids when they're on those phones. He goes, do you remember looking at the raindrops on the window driving the car, betting on who was going to win, you know, in the raindrops, and I'll go, bro, you know, like that was their entertainment.
I know. Marbles.
So I think, you know, we've just sped up, and, you know, I don't want to sound like one of those old dudes. Everyone's always on their phones and all this sort of stuff. But when I'm speaking to teachers, I'm like, the best way you can connect with our youth is by being present with them and listening to them. And if we're stuck in our heads thinking we've got to get to the next interview, we've got to get to the next student, people feel that. People feel when you're not being present. And the biggest thing we can do for our youth, yes, plant seeds, but the biggest thing, we sit there, listen and be present and allow them to feel supported. So it's a mixed bag, but not a mixed bag, but there's a lot going into, I suppose, the issues with mental health, and there's resources getting thrown left, right, and center. But you know, getting things back to the basics, bro. Getting to the gym, get out in the sun. You know, what's your nutrition like? What's your the impact of sugar and mental health? The studies are off its head because sugar smashes your gut lining, the ability to produce serotonin, all that stuff gets limited. And yes, it brings things back to the basics: nutrition, training, sun, vitamin D. You know, they've convinced us that the sun's bad for us, so people like vitamin D deficiency, and that for mental health is huge.
I mean, how bad is the information out there too? Because
Don't get me started, man.
Half the time, I feel like I'm fighting against social media and the information that's been put out there by whether it be the news, the government, and you know, people start to question almost everything.
Yeah.
But they don't want to.
So you should,
but the basics are the basics.
Yeah.
Like the
right.
fundamentals are the fundamentals. Going for a walk.
You should question where you're getting your information from.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And today, in today's day and age, we have to scrutinise things more than ever.
Oh, lies and deception getting spread everywhere, bro. Yeah, for sure.
Confidence, identity, and inner strength. You often speak about this, confidence and self-identity, right? How does one go from low self-esteem and low confidence to being at least confident enough to get out in the public?
Yeah, it's a good question. Again, bringing things back to basics. Like I've heard recently, which highlights the point, you can't get confident in something. Like kids go, how can I be confident to do X, Y, Z? It's like, you're not going to get confident and then do it. You got to do it to build your confidence in it.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you have to do the whole thing.
No,
what's
100%.
what's a step to that?
Yeah.
What's a step to that? So yes, it's not about getting confident and then doing, but there's a couple of things you can do. Is I read in a book recently, the Choice for Love, not recently, it was a while ago, and it said your greatest advancements in life don't come through what you learn. The greatest advancements come through unlearning of the patterns that aren't serving you.
Yeah.
So unlearning is the greatest gift.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's that even mean? I was like, so sometimes the students will ask, how do I get rid of it? How do I lower my anxiety? How do I stop being negative? A girl just at the gig then came up and said, you know, I'm negative and I always have this outburst in front of my parents. What do I do? It's a great question. I say, okay, how are you spending your days? Like if I say as well, show me your algorithm, show me your mind.
Yeah.
Like if you could take a step back and as a bird's eye view and have a look at your algorithm on Insta, the stories you're watching, the reels that are coming up, that's your belief systems.
Yeah.
And if that's negative, if that's judgmental, if that's people fighting, then that's your belief system. Of course you're going to respond to that.
Yeah.
In my past, all I was doing was drama, crime, violence, and everything I'd watch, drama, crime, violence, anything. If I read it, drama, crime, I said, of course I'm going to fill my mind with that.
Yes.
So now, okay, unlearn, have a look at the stuff you need to unlearn. The stuff even the mainstream media, later, you know, the TV shows you're watching, the people you're spending your time with, taking away that, then you can start planting the seeds of truth. So for me, like I said, I'm big in the faith. I'm reading my Bible. I'm reading people overcoming things so that's what I'm filling my belief systems with. That's the stuff that helps me get confident in my mindset.
Redemption Road. I'm going to read this book.
You better, bro.
No, I am.
You hear that, people? Let's test him on it in a month,
eh? 2 years, maybe 3 years.
Short chapters, bro, so it's good for attention span.
If you got pictures in there, it'll be faster. But I'm going to read it. What can I expect, Luke, from reading this book? Like what I've learned great lessons here already. Like just how you're framing things, and I love it. You know, and there's a lot of great takeaways that individuals can take away. And you're right, but just an algorithm. We're watching, you know, one story here, one story, then we're getting this algorithm, and that pretty much tells us where we're at, and we have to break the cycle. I'm sure everything we've talked about is in this book, but what are some of the big takeaways that are in this book?
Yeah, okay. So like I said, short chapters, so it grabs the attention.
Yeah.
And it's weaving the messages of showing what happens when you step off your path. Showing what happens when you don't stay integral to your own beliefs, your own value system. Showing what happens when you get attached to the ego, and it's making reference back to it gives people an opportunity to reflect on their own actions.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you have to have gone down a heavy path.
Yeah.
It could be that you have a negative belief system about sales.
Yeah.
You've made a phone call once and you stuffed it up, so now I can't make calls. It's just stuff like that. So what's happened in your past that are creating your current belief systems, and how can you break free of that? Breaking free of it, the only way you're going to break free using that same example is making those calls. It's the only way you're going to do it. For sure, do your sales training, but you can do all the sales training in the world. But once you get on that phone, that can all just disappear in a second.
Yeah.
You're only going to learn by doing more of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just giving them an opportunity to read a great story as well, how I overcome that.
Yeah.
And yeah, but not just about me, some reflection on how they can change some certain aspects of their life too.
One thing that there's a common theme, you know, you've gone back to a few times on this interview, and you've talked about faith. You've gone back and back. I know in your toughest times, it's not hope, it's faith. Because hope is almost hopeless. Mm-hmm. How important is, you know, you can look at faith from a standpoint in religion, but you can look at faith of having faith in the process you're about to, you know, embark on. How important is your faith in the road that you're taking and where you want to get to?
Yeah, beautiful. My faith in terms of my Christianity is everything to me, but also my faith in my next step. Yeah. The faith that because I've become a Christian these last 3 years, I know that I have faith that in whatever's to come is meant to come. I'll work my ass off for what's to come, but the result isn't on me. The result is for my God to decide. So that for some people that might be a cop out because I don't have to try then if it's all up to God. But no, you got to put yourself in a position for it to occur. So yeah, it's sort of.
I love that because a lot of people go, I'm just gonna pray and pray and pray, but they're not gonna walk towards the prayer.
Yeah. That's right. It's like you can't pray for something then just sit on your backside and do nothing 100%. About it. But yeah, man, the faith in terms of my because when I was going through my drugs, crime, and violence, man, I used to beg, pray at night. I was like, oh, God, get me out of this world. You know, please just get me out of here. And when I got out of that world, I didn't give the glory to God. Right, instead, went on a bit of a new age, false sort of journey spiritually, man. And I opened myself up to a lot of darkness, bro. Yeah. And it wasn't until about 3 years ago, you know, I started reading the Bible and got heavily into the faith and accepted Christ. All my desires changed, bro, like that. Because you know, I was living a bit of a hedonistic life. I was single. I was just like, you know, and I was convinced in that new age world of that marriage is just a piece of paper. I didn't want a family, so I was getting pumped with all that, right? But then coming to the faith and realizing the importance of family, knowing the importance of being a strong dad that leads his family and is sacrificial for his family, and that was the best purpose that I could ever strive for. That's when I dived straight into faith and also opened up and knowing that I wanted to be a father, and that's when I met my beautiful wife, and away we went. Wow.
Well, I know what it's like having daughters. I got two. One's about to turn 19, the other one's 22.
Man, that must be a spin out, mate.
Fuck, 27. I was going, what the fuck? Am I a dad? But it's been good. Like I'm enjoying that I had them when I was young because now I can enjoy this sort of next phase and then who I have to be as a dad now.
What is your next phase? What's your next chapter, bro?
Man.
No, you can't mention here. What's your next chapter?
To be honest, like, I've been able to do a fair bit lately, you know, in terms of business, but like my whole thing is about like who can Mets become, right? Like this is personal for me, right? Yes. Like and that means like how can I control this, not the outcomes of everything that happens, because I can walk out here and something's happened, right? I can't control every outcome, but I can control who I can become, and I'm always invested in what are my reactions with people and how can I help best serve what I'm trying to do? So I kind of keep it simple in that area. Even though, like, you know, it may seem complicated what I do, I strive to keep building a better culture. I don't like it when people say that's the way it is, that's the way we used to do it.
That's what we've always done it, sort of thing.
So you know, this year I've had tough conversations with a lot of people in my ecosystem of where we're going to go, and I wanted to make the vision clear. And the vision was like, it's funny because like going through the transition of my life, like I'm 49 this year.
You're kicking ass, bro. Looking sharp as.
Yeah.
My man.
You know what's cool? Like when I was 21 and you said 49 ago, mate, I'm seeing the guys in the pub that are fucking 49, they're 50. So the perception of everything changes. Like the framework of everything that I do changes. And it's not about me not making any more mistakes or getting things wrong. It's about how can I build a better system to bring better people on the ride. And I was talking to a couple of mates the other day. I go, mates, what do you want to do? I go, listen, man. I go, very, very simple. I go, money just gives us the freedom to have a good time and help more people. I go, that's it. It's just the vehicle for that. I go, so I want to, and I go, what's a good time? I go, I want to be healthy, and I want to make people healthy, and I want to enjoy a great time with those people.
Yeah, beautiful, mate.
I go, that's all I want to do. So I go, I want to build a system. I go, I know what to do with anyone on a gym floor. I go, I don't care how old you are, and I make you feel unbelievable.
Yeah,
I go, but
confidence.
me alone is not enough. I go, I need to find better systems, which I'm working on right now, and better processes to bring that to life, where it's almost like you're getting Mets all the time. And if Mets is improving, you're getting the new version of him. So essentially it gives me the ability to lead more and help more people. That being family and everyone, right?
Yeah,
like,
nice.
and you know, I was with a few people, you know, in the last week, and I said, this is the ecosystem I'm building, and this is how I'm going to help them. I go, can you help me do that? And they go, yeah, we can help you do that.
Boom.
But I never, if you asked me, did I believe I was going to be able to do all the things I'm doing this year? I would have said, probably not. But then when I started doing it, and I started executing it, and there was problems within the process. There was a lot of problems.
Sure.
And what I'm doing, I'm going, what the fuck am I doing? But what happened was I became a better problem solver. I became better at solutions.
Yeah.
Problem? I go, okay, how do we create a solution? You know,
Help's a big one too. Like knowing you need a team, bro.
mate, yeah, man. Like, look, team is everything, right? And because I was becoming the person I was becoming, I was finding better people for my team. Right?
So true, yeah.
Because you're elevating who you become, so you're finding better people in the team, and I'm almost certain and sure that I'm going to find even better people in the next 6 months, 12 months. But within that time frame, I've found heaps more great people to facilitate where I want to go.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm bringing them on the journey, man.
Yeah.
I'm showing them the vision, and the end result is always, like, see, you got a bad hip. I'm just thinking, how can I make that hip better?
Yeah.
Like, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like, he's running. I go, I got
Thank you.
supplements. No, I'm being honest. This is what I've done to Vic,
Yeah.
and a few mates. But I just think about, what does the product look like? How can I help him the most? Which contacts does he need?
Yeah, champion. Yeah,
Right?
I get you. Nice.
So
Thank you.
when anyone talks, I go, I have to create that. How can I do it so it's so easy, so engaging, that they love it. They go, like, for example, I go, fuck, if I build this app, I go, where can I have Luke if he can help people in this area? Because I go, I'm not the facilitator for everything. It's people. So that's why I love doing the podcast, because it doesn't just help me. Like, I'm a bit selfish. I like doing the interviews because I learn from you. Like, it's
Fun
selfish
too,
for me,
having
right?
a good chat.
It is because if I have to get in front of a team or have to get in front of my people, I'm building this system that has the ability to just turn it on when it needs to be turned on. If I'm doing repetition work, I can turn on that system now and that process. I'm confident that I can build the best gym anywhere in the world, right? And what I mean by that, it's 27 years in the trenches. So I'm the practitioner in the gym. I'm not the gym owner that sits on the sideline.
Mate, I saw you before, mate. You're still there picking up
You
stuff.
said it, bro.
Yeah, I saw you, bro.
Yeah,
He
bro.
doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't stop.
You just
bro.
notice a bit of packet
man.
there.
Like, when I'm
put the
in
plates away. I
yeah,
said,
bro.
that's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's good to see, hey.
So and that's the difference between us and all these gyms. I'm the practitioner on the ground that's still training really hard. And, you know, if you're not doing that as a gym owner, how do you know how to serve your people?
So true. Leading by example.
You
You
know
got to
what I
be
mean?
amongst it, yeah.
And it's the same for you. Like, you're doing the run. Like, you're doing the run because you want to show people, hey, man, my hip's gone. I'm going to show you another thing that I can do. And I rewired my brain to do this. I don't want to do this, but I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this to help people.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
And, you know, yeah, but, man, the final question I'm going to ask you,
Let's go.
because you said, mate, where you going with this, mate? I'm creating a system that if you breathe, you're going to need it. And I have to have the best support team behind the scenes to help me. I have to have the best support team. And I say to my team, support. Support your team, support your people.
Yeah. It's funny because school condition us if you help your mate next to you, you're cheating.
Yeah,
You know, we need to be helping. We need to have each other's back.
Support, man. And I'm, you know, like I've heard that word a lot lately because even with a lot of the things that we're changing in our business, and the number one thing my team's saying is that CRM system doesn't have support. I go, what you have said to me in 1 month, I go, the number one word is support. I go, how do you think the members feel?
Big.
Yeah, I go, how do you think the members feel? And that's why, you know, when I heard that, like my brain's almost like an algorithm, like, you know, it gets words and then it goes, well, what are you going to do about it? Like, what are you going to do about it? And so that's why when you ask me where I'm going, I want to get that side of it unbelievably down pat, and then I'm creating our own products that help people.
Oh, nice, brother.
Right?
Cool.
But
it's all happening.
The future legacy, like where is Luke going? You've written this book. You're getting this church. You're a man of faith. You're going to keep speaking at schools. You speak to CEOs, corporates. You're helping a lot of people. You're doing great work, Luke. It's not easy to do that job. Like, where is Luke's legacy and what's his future look like?
My legacy has been a great dad and raising some, our goals, 10 kids.
10 kids?
After the first, my wife will fight me on that. But just to raise a traditional family, homeschool, raise them up on the property.
Love it.
Raise my kids to be with the faith, full of integrity. Close with their families and knowing the truth.
Yeah,
that's my legacy.
So simple yet so effective.
And everything else is just I suppose not a tool because you know it's a big one that I've been sort of juggling with and battling with, I should say. Is this is my passion, purpose, being out on the road, but it's taking me away from my family as well. So I want to make things better, like in terms of maybe doing some. I've got online stuff happening as well, mentorship, all that sort of stuff to be at home. Still want to be out on the road, but not as much. Because like I said, if I want to be the leader of my family and support my family, I've got to be there more. Yeah. So, you know, the online mentorship and obviously trying to do, you know, bigger events, that allows you to be with your family. Correct. Yeah. So it's the same thing, but just different, you know, just evolve in. It is, because like what I done was I just moved down the road. So my kids are down the road. My wife's here, my daughter's here, and I see them training every day. That's cool. That's great. Yeah, I had to design it that way, bro. Otherwise, it's too hard, and I needed that. I just needed that, you know. And sometimes, like I feel like, you know, I'm talking to you. I go, "Fuck, man, I got to be more present with my family." Like, and this is what I got from you right now. I've got to be more present. I've got to be more present. Don't we all, brother? Don't worry about that. No, well, after this, I'm going to tell them that. You know what I mean? Like, but thanks for that, man. And I really, really appreciate it. And I can't wait to read the book. Everything Vic said you are is exactly, you know, exactly how he said it, man. And I respect you, and thank you for coming. And you got a great story, like boxing, being stabbed, you know, being in the trenches, not having the confidence, trying to create an identity just to please people, and then understanding how to get your way out of that. I take my hat off to you, because, you know, writing a book isn't easy, and you wrote your first one in 2014. And I'll leave you with this. The best mentors and the best individuals that help kids are the ones that have gone through the most. And if you haven't walked through that fire and you haven't gone through that, what experience do you have to help anyone? Oh, man, I agree. Thank you. Thank you, brother. God bless. Thanks. Thanks. Man.